Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Before we get to the crux of this video, I do want to make a couple of announcements. Number one, this Friday I will be doing a 12-hour stream from noon to midnight Mountain Standard Time. We will be having fun playing Raid, playing other mobile games, playing any game. We'll just be playing a bunch of different games, probably mostly Raid content, but we'll give you a little bit of everything you can. Again, that is this Friday, July 2nd, a 12-hour stream. We will be featuring some fun drinking party games as well, where I will try to remain coherent for 12 hours. So I hope to see you there. Also, I have made a second channel called Mad Capper Plays. This is where I'm going to put any games that I am playing on the side that are non-raid related. I thought about putting them into this channel, but instead I've moved them to a second channel. I'm not looking specifically to grow the channel, but just to kind of gauge interest in other areas. Currently, I have a couple episodes of Mass Effect games that I have played and recorded, threw them up there without telling anyone anything, and so just to let you know, they are there, link in the description below. I would absolutely be cool if you guys did subscribe and did check that out, but either way, if you want some non-raid related content from me, in the future, that is where it's going to be. Hopefully, we're going to put some more stuff on there. I'm looking forward to a future patch from the Cyberpunk universe so that we can get back into that, maybe play some of that. Definitely we're going to play the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 in its entirety. They're going to be longer game, they're going to be plays, obviously they're going to be gameplay related and other non-raid related stuff. I'm not going to try to make a single thematic channel, a secondary, because I just don't have enough subs to be able to make a full secondary thematic channel unless, you know, something goes viral somehow. So just to let you know that, it'd be awesome if you went there and subscribed. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe this very video. About 70% of you aren't subscribed that watch these, so it would be an absolute honor to me if I were to get your free subscription to help me out with my goal of hitting 5,000 by the end of the year. You know, 8,000 is our ultimate goal to hit tier 3 of the content creator program. So both of those are goals in our near future. With that said, this is now the video. We are going to do another of I Built Them So You Don't Have To. And today we're going to talk about a very old, long-time champion that's long been ignored by this channel. And it's about time I do a video on him. So without further ado, let's talk about Spider. Glowing Mark has a 60% chance, bookable to 100% chance, of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Has a 30% bookable to 70% chance of placing a 15% weakened debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Calamity attacks all enemy, decreases the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. Has a 50% bookable to 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Damage is based on attack and HP. Possess attacks 1 enemy. Has a 50 bookable to 70% chance of removing 1 random buff from the target. I think the purpose we were trying to get through with the two videos, you saw the run through of both the Ice Golem and the Spider, and the point is, while Spider is not going to be the end game champion you kind of want him to be with his kit, he is usable in the interim. He is a good interim champion. That is a champion you use until you get the champion you want. So of course you want Draco, you want Venus, you want Lydia, right? You want these champions, even Rosin, even though it's a single target. The advantage of Spider here is that he is usable as needed. Now, he does have the extra cooldown on his A3, which makes it a bit more difficult. We'll talk about that in a second, but it's not awful, right? And of course here, you saw here, I didn't even really use the Cold Heart or even the second Royal Guard. In this case, we could probably take out Septimus. He is also Force Affinity, and he does have reasonable HP to start, so you could use him as your weak affinity tank as well if you're going with one of those really traditional earlier game type compositions. You do of course need enemy max HP hitters to go down the weak affinity tank. It just takes too long and it's too arduous to try to kill the Spider by any other means other than HP burn or enemy max HP. The other options just aren't going to work for you. Just, we've got to be full disclosure here. But is the Spider a great champion? Maybe not, but he can definitely work for you in this capacity. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a look at his kit. I'm going to show you how I built him out. And then finally, we're going to play around with him in the arena to see if you can possibly use him as a stopgap measure until you receive that kind of Madame Saris or Lydia, Venus, Draco, any of these sort of debuff champions that are kind of more of an end game or at least a late game champion. So we're going to try out Spider in the arena and then we'll go with my final thoughts. Right, here's our Spider built out in immunity gear. We've done that specifically to use them in different arena combinations to see what we can't get to work for us properly in the different dungeons. I may not need him in immunity gear, but I thought it would make the most sense just to put him in there so we can experiment a little bit when we take him to the arena. But as you can see here, his stats are all about speed, getting that tuned so that he's slower than the champions that need to go before him, which we'll talk about in a minute here, with good debuff accuracy. I could stand to have a little more debuff accuracy, and if I didn't go in immunity, I could, which it's all up to you, right? But we're not building him out for any sort of damage. His damage is not worth it. And further said into his masteries, you look here, we're going with Eagle Eye. We are going with the Sniper, which will improve his A2, his A1, and that weaken on the A3. And then everything else is just kind of helping him. These are both good Retribution and his Deterrence, just so that he gets extra attacks where his A1 might take a random debuff off of, or random buff of a champion. So there's his abilities. Now we're going to play with them a bit in the arena. We're going to try out some different combinations to see if they can work. And just think of this from the perspective of a mid-game player. This wouldn't be an end-game player ability. Spider's not there, but we're trying to show you that if I build him out, if you were to build him out as a stopgap until you get a better champion, can you still use him anywhere other than just Spider, or maybe all the dungeons, depending on what you need? Is he usable? Can you make him usable in the interim for your arena team? So let's go there next. Okay, so here is an all-epic team, not really your normal sort of team. Just trying to go along the theme of what you can do with Spider. So we're bringing in Spider. We're gonna get hit here. Oh, I forgot I didn't want an auto, but there's your put thing. We're not perfectly speed tuned in this one, as you can see, but we're just survivable, right? This is just about being survivable. There we go. We take the hit. We take the hit. Now it's our turn. I probably can't burn. Well, let's give it a try. And of course, Swift Parry, and of course the counter attack, because 50% chance happens 100% of the time whenever you don't want it to. Just so we're all on the same page here. Good. We'll get rid of some of their buffs. Decrease duration. Let's go. Survive. Oh, he got taunted. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Yeah, sure. Well, there, he can't be revived. Now that's a problem. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. Oh, I wish I was going right there. I'm really scared of him. Obviously. And he's gonna loop. Oh, you killed her. You murderer. Okay. Do that. Every time. This guy gets more counterattacks than any champion in the game. I swear to the good God. Alright, survive. It's not pretty. Yeah, no swift parry that time. So that was, I mean, we're running. I don't need that right now, so let's block buffs. Oh, I like that. So it looks like we're gonna win this. I don't think either of these guys can do anything. We've actually blocked buff. We can take that down, hopefully. Good. And then we'll just we'll keep going here. And there you go. A team that probably feels like it should be better than ours, and we were able to take it down. All right, this time we're gonna do a speed lead. I'm gonna bring in some nuke just because Phoenix he's not tuned. I just have him for really good damage for normal Doom Tower on a couple of the bosses. So he's too slow. Or maybe we'll actually, you know, maybe we'll do this. We'll bring him fully, just to give us a little more damage. But that's any damage dealer that you have. And obviously we're bringing in Lysandra. We're going to go speed this time. Definitely. So they don't have buffs. We're going to save that in case she gets a turn. But we're going to extend our buffs, which is really nice. Get some extra shields there. Away we go. And then we're going to try to set her down first. There are 3 of the 4 down. You can. It's over, obviously. But from here we can keep going. So, you know, the point being here is Fang Cleric, as part of a team, as part of an ensemble, can still do work. You can still see what he is able to do. He's not going to do it as good as the other champions in his realm, but he's not completely useless. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, is that you don't always have the champions you want. I shouldn't have brought the same team in. That's fine. So here's the scenario. This time we're gonna go the opposite way, right? We aren't gonna increase. We're gonna try to take away as much of their buffs. We got 2. We're gonna remove, and then you know, win condition, right? That's the person we want to make sure gets locked down. In that case, we had enough damage to knock them all out. Let's go for another one. The team that is going to be a problem is a team that has good buffs. With this particular team, I mean, obviously, I'll show you the stats of the champions I used in a second here, but we'll do one more fight. God damn it. So we're gonna let them go first, and I don't know if I can survive this, but we're gonna find out. Maybe we do this instead. Let's see what happens. I don't know. So just different combinations to let you go. Oh, I go. Well, then you're in trouble. I'm gonna go first. We're gonna get those shields up. Obviously, we're gonna get hit here. But now it's my turn. They don't have any. I'm not worried about their speed. I'm not gonna use it here. Instead, I'm gonna increase duration. We're going to put the weaken and the defense down. That's gonna be more than enough for Foley to do his thing. And there you go. Of course, we have one champion left. That's fine. Take your turns. It's not going to be enough. And another win. Now, I'm not fighting endgame champions, but I'm not supposed to be, right? I'm not looking to show you what I can do against endgame. I'm showing you with the champions like this. We brought in different champion sets. There is a taunt on available, so it's good that we at least have a way to deal with that, right? So we've got shields on. They're gonna go first. You get the taunt. You get the decrease. Actually, don't worry. You can just leave it all in auto. You see where this is going to help you. Boom. You don't have to have that big time nuker. Now there are 2 revivers here. Probably should have brought someone that's a little bit more dangerous. There you go. Got rid of that stupid shield that Molly puts up. Let's see if we can just kill Molly there. Good. Then we'll taunt. Boom. I could have probably left this on auto. I just don't want to go forever. So we just want to do what we can to finish this off. But again, you don't have to go first when you're in the mid game. You can go second. I really wish she didn't heal herself there. I guess can't really get away from that. Oh, no, not damage. Oh, good. She's not. I thought maybe she was going to revive and I was going to cry. cry myself to sleep. Oh, I'm gonna die. So again, you can win fights through the week, farm successfully in the mid game with this sort of setup. My final thoughts on Spider are this. First off, I wish I would stop calling him Fang Cleric. I did it throughout the video. I apologize for that. Especially when he was on the defense of a team that I thought... I don't know why my head just wants to call him Fang Cleric. But Fang Cleric is a much newer champion. This Spider is old. He's been around, I'm pretty sure, since the beginning. And I slept on him. And what I will say is, first off, he's not an endgame, hidden gem as far as that goes. But I do believe that a lot of people are in the same boat as me that are looking back at the first 6 months where they maybe pulled Spider and they sat on him because they just felt like his kit wasn't good enough, or perhaps a tier list said that the champion wasn't good enough. And the problem with the tier list is it's comparative to his own group, but his own group is such a small group that out of almost 600 champions now, you have to pull one of the champions that has an AoE defense down with a weaken at 100%. The defense down at 100% first off, and then the added weaken as a bonus, even though it's only 70%, and an AoE attack down on the same kit, albeit 75%. That's actually a really good kit, and there's not a lot of champions that have that all-encompassing group. And when you look at that, sure, he's on the lower end of that. I would say I would put him above War Maiden, just apples to apples, maybe on par with Dagger, maybe slightly ahead of Dagger, definitely slightly below or probably a lot below Tyrell, just because of Tyrell's survivability in an early game, being that he's a defense-based champion. And then, that's kind of where I put him. But when there's such a small group of champions out of so many champions, you could spend 9 months, a year without an AoE defense down champion and sitting on Spider because you were told that he's not good. So always keep that in mind. If you're looking at your team and you don't have insert kit here, and you have a champion that has that kit, don't be afraid to use that champion. The downfall of Spider. So let's talk about the upside of Spider. Upside of Spider is, of course, he has an AoE defense down that you can book to 100%, and also has a weaken. It's the baby weaken, but it's still an added bonus on this A3. He has an aura which is very strong aura. I really love ally speed auras. It's only dungeons, but still very great. It allows you to build out 2-to-1 over, dungeon bosses a lot easier because that's such a big number. Also has an AoE decrease attack, even though 75% booked. Also has the fact that he has decrease in duration of all buffs by 1 turn is nice, and the chance of removing a random buff. Probably an underrated champion for the magic dungeon if you're having some issues there. So those are the good things. Also very good HP. Very strong HP, decent attack for an epic champion, an epic support champion especially. The downfalls has to do probably with the fact that you've got a lot of not 100%. His speed is I think that's a blight to me. His defense is a little low too for a support champion, but that speed can be crippling. And just the fact that this is a baby weekend. But the one thing that I think is awful for him is that 6-turn bookable to 5-turn cooldown. So, overall, I think this is a champion that many people sat on longer than they should have, to the point where they no longer need him. Looking at him now, having built him for this series, think, boy, I wish, when I originally pulled him, I wish I would have built him. Because I think there was probably a good 3 months where I could have used him. I had Tyrell relatively early, so I can't complain, but I think that his kit, Spider's kit, especially going into Arena, would have helped me a lot more in those early days of trying to farm when there wasn't bots back in the old days. It wasn't as hard back in the old days, but it was still somewhat difficult to get into that gold 4 zone. And I think this champion, being that he can't re-kit, would have made it a lot easier for me than Tyrell, or at least had 2 options, had a Force Affinity and Magic Affinity option. So I do believe strongly that I slept on him too long. And really could have used him as, a weak affinity tank in Spider 20. because he's got the decreased defense that doesn't do damage. Plus, he's got reasonable HP, so you can build up his HP really high. You're not building him up for damage. So those are my thoughts on him. I think it's pretty easy how to fix him. First of all, a couple of maybe I would like to have is more speed. I would like to have this at 100%, but and I would like this to be 100%, and I would like it to be a 25% weaken. But honestly, forget all that. Keep all of his kit the same. Just make this a 4-turn bookable to 3-turn cooldown. You are putting a huge investment of, what, 14 books potentially into this champion, and especially for his A3, but also, honestly, for his A2 and A1, those books are integral to his usefulness. You need to book them, and that's a lot of books. That's not a small amount of books, especially for low-spend, free-to-play players. And once you put that level of investment, I would expect to have better than a 6-turn bookable to 5-turn cooldown. And I think a lot of players wouldn't be sleeping on him, and I think he'd be a lot more sought after and well thought of, but still wouldn't overpower the kind of better than hims, the Madame Saris, the, you know, Tyrell because he's defense, Clan Boss Tyrell over Spider for sure, but gives you an affinity option now all of a sudden at 3 turns. I think he's not as good as the legendary champions that do this sort of thing. So I just feel like that it's one simple thing. 4-turn bookable to 3-turn. I think people look at him in a different light. I think they use him. I think they use him for affinity and clan boss. I think they use him in dungeons because he's got the great aura to go with it, and it rotates better. Plus, honestly, I think he's very underrated overall for the arena. I mean, you want Madame Saris because she can strip and debuff, but she's 1 in a million. I think it's what her and Ray offhand put a defense down and can strip. I can't think of anyone else offhand that does both. So he does have a definite usefulness in the arena, which I think is highly underrated as his kit is, but it sure would be nice on a 3-turn cooldown. Even for those go second, more sustained type fights like we were doing, probably would have ended 3 or 4 turns earlier if this was a better cooldown. So that's all my thoughts on him. Just make that cooldown, and I think it'll be good to go. What do you think of him? Let me know in the comments down below. Is this someone you slept on? Someone that you thought, geez, after the fact, maybe I should have used him? Or am I just blowing smoke? Is he not as good as I think he is for that mid-game player? Definitely not an end-game player champion, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, don't forget, check me out on Friday, 12-hour stream, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going to be crushing it, doing games, drinks. We're going to play Raid. We're probably going to play some Mass Effect. We're probably just going to play a bunch of different shit, so I hope to see you there on Friday. Other than that, I want to thank you for joining me today. Appreciate you guys dropping by and watching the video. Please be kind, be safe, and we'll see you in the next video.